Hello there, fellow undead. I'm here for another episode of I Played a Thing, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, and with me today is Spooky Scary Salad, wearing the top and pants of the Skeleton Lord set. As I mentioned last time, this is pretty solid armor for the weight, and it has a pretty cool look, I think. The one downside being you can only upgrade it with Twinkling Titanite, but you can't have everything. Anyway, exceptions to the set are that rather than the arm pieces, I am wearing the engraved gauntlets because I had enough wet limit to do that. And, you know, having a little critical hit action every once in a while is a good thing. Also, on my noggin, I am wearing the alternate version of the prisoner hood. You may recall the other version was just sort of a bandit mask covering my mouth. This version, which I got from one of the undead or rather the hollows down in the gutter. As you can see, it has an additional piece to it that kind of wraps around your head and covers one of your eyes. Same flavor text, and it is statistically identical, but it's just an alternate look, which is kind of cool. Anywho, last time we did complete the gutter and make our way to the Black Gulch, which is where we're going to find the fourth and last of our well-endowed nameless old ones. So today we're going to complete that leg of our quest. However, we do have a few pieces of business to take care of before then. First of which is that I forgot to show you the Dark Pyromancy Flame. So we'll do that real quick like. A flame catalyst used by pyromancers. Pyromancers rouse this flame to produce various fire arts. The flame rewards those with a thirst for power. The more hollowed one is, the stronger its effect. So that's about all there is to that, the idea being the more hollowed you are, the better it gets. However, for my money, it's really not worth it. If you're maximally hollowed, that is, you have only 50% of your max HP, or 75% rather, if you have the binding ring on, it's only slightly better than the standard pyro had. And of course, you're missing a big chunk of your max HP then. So, it does get slightly better if you're as solid as you can be, but just not enough to offset what you're giving up in the process, so in my opinion, it's just not worth using. Of course, I may be missing something, and if I am, I trust you will bring it to my attention. Anyway, we have a little trading to do also, before we really launch back into things today. First of our trades is going to be with the bird ladies up in Things Betwixt. And we will trade in our smooth and silkies and see what there is to be had from the gachapon today. Hey Ryu, I think a good one's about to come out of this capsule toy machine. Give me 100 yen.
Give it, Moose. Yes, you.
Yeah, I've got two of the normal-sized ones. And I'm going to get a bunch of shit I don't care about. Oh well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And sometimes, something ventured and still nothing gained. Oh well, we do have one other trade still to make, and this one has a guaranteed result. And that guaranteed result is actually pretty damn good. We are going to make our way over to the gentleman from Olafis. And we are going to give him the soul of the Royal Rat Vanguard. And surprisingly, what we can get for the Vanguard soul is a lot better, in my opinion, than what you get from the Authority soul, despite the Royal Rat Authority being a much more difficult boss fight.
Well, this is a most twisted soul. Very good indeed. Prepare to peer straight into the heart of magic.
Not real sure what's so twisted about it, it's just a rat with a mohawk. Anyway, what we get for this is Toxic Mist. Very, very nice. And it's exactly what you'd expect. It's just like poison mist, except instead of poison, it inflicts toxic. Better yet, you actually get more casts of it than you do with poison mist, which I believe has 2 instead of 3. So, a class act all around. A fringe pyromancy of unknown origin creates a powerful cloud of poison mist. Except it's not poison, it's toxic, but I guess that's a type of poison. Anyway, the poison gradually erodes the target's body, inflicting damage all the while. Whoever created this spell did not believe his enemies deserved a swift death.
Feeble, cursed one. Do you really think you can manage the glories that are my spells?
Well, not really, but, you know, I'll do what I can. So, really, that's about it for the prelims. With that, we can make our way around on into Black Gulch. And I am gonna go ahead and doom myself by saying that this area, both compared to the gutter and in general, is not a particularly difficult one. There are statues everywhere. The concentration of poison spitters is just massive, but aside from that, the enemy presence here is not very strong. God damn, that's a lot of messages. But yeah, in addition to not having a particularly strong enemy presence, this area is also rather short. We should be able to make our way through it a lot faster than we did the gutter. Not least because it's quite linear. It is pretty much a straight shot from the beginning to the end, with a couple of side branches. None of which are a particularly big deal, although some of them do have important things. I recall there are a couple of paths off to the left, so I want to make sure I don't miss those. I think I see one of them up ahead. A word in your ear about the tar pits up ahead. They contain an enemy called coal tar, which is sort of a cross between a hand and a snake. And whenever you approach a tar pit that has a coal tar in it, it will lunge out at you with a grab. So you have to be careful you don't get caught. The grab is very damaging, and in fact, depending on your HP and protection, can quite possibly kill you. Another thing of importance about the tar pits is that they are flammable. Yeah, don't be sneaky. I said don't be... asshole. Anyway, as I was saying, they are flammable, and so if you toss a firebomb in there or use some pyromancy on them or something like that, you will be able to set them ablaze. And if there is a coal tar in there, it will take damage and eventually die. But that is not an unqualifiedly good thing. Reason being, the coal tars can have some rather nice ore drops, including chunks. Damn it! Yeah, all the statues around this area can get very tiresome. Anywho, as I was saying, the coal tars can have some really nice ore drops. They can, in fact, have chunks... Whoop! There's one now. And if you kill them with the tar pit being on fire, that may make it rather difficult to safely grab any treasure that they drop. So I prefer not to take that approach. And when they first pop out and try to do the grab, that's the easiest time to kill them. They don't have a lot of HP or defense, and they drop rather easily. But their regular attacks have decent range, so you really don't want to give them a good opportunity to start zoning you. We've got a couple of little side paths here. Oop, didn't intend to do that. First of which is just a simple chest opportunity. And we get a free copy of Great Magic Weapon and a Shotel, which you may recall was the favored weapon of Sir Lautrec of Karim. Let us have a quick peek at that, if I can find it in the inventory here. Show tell. Oh, there you are. A uniquely shaped curved sword. The name of its creator is unknown, but he was clearly a true craftsman. The curved blade is designed to reach around an opponent's shield to deal damage. Use the strong attack to utilize. So, just like previous Souls games, this lets you use the strong attack to bypass a shield. And they say it's unknown who came up with this thing, but if I recall correctly, in the previous Dark Souls, it was said that this weapon was an invention of the Earl of Karim. But of course, the Earl of Karim is now long forgotten, and probably the country no longer even exists. Now, there is another side path down here that is well worth exploring, and you have to drop off the cliff here into the deeper part of the Gulch. And if we shed a little light on things, that should make it easier to find the way down. Right about here, it looks like. Well, you want to step off pretty carefully and swing your weapon on the way down so you don't roll. There we go. Still barely made it. But we lived. And as a prize for living, we get to say hello to our friend Lucatiel again. Hey Luca, it's been quite a while.
Oh, you... My thoughts are very scattered. What is this curse? The question rings in my mind, but I haven't the focus to answer it. Loss frightens me no end. Loss of memory, loss of self. If I were told that by killing you I would be freed of this curse, then I would draw my sword without hesitation. I don't want to die. I want to exist. I would sacrifice anything at all for this. It shames me, but it is the truth. Sometimes I feel obsessed with this insignificant thing called self. Even so, I am compelled to preserve it. Am I wrong to feel so? Surely you do the same in my shoes. Maybe we're all cursed from the moment we're born.
Oh, Lucatiel. I think all of us in this whole cursed undead boat feel about the same as you. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Sometimes even alone. Maybe.
Well, at the very least, we're all in this curse called life together. Hugs! In addition to that lovely bit of character, this has the advantage of allowing us to summon Lucatiel for the boss fight at the end of this level, which we will most definitely be doing. I'm just gonna bet one of these says revenge. Revenge! 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 Right then. I believe this should drop us down right about where we left off, in the area of the first field of coal tars. God damn it. It'd be hard to smash these things sometimes without getting right in front of them. Blundering into their field of fire. It is kind of funny how, being below even the bottom of the rubbish, the Black Gulch really isn't all that... Whoa! Left one of these guys alive. Didn't realize I had. None of them are dropping anything good for me, though, and that sucks. Anywho, as I was saying, the Black Gulch really isn't all that nasty compared to the gutter, and I'm not sure why. I mean, we all know shit rolls downhill, right? Perhaps something about the division between areas, something about the fog gate or something, prevents all of the trash and corpses and such from leaking down here? I just don't know. What I do know is that there's a giant worm caterpillar thing hiding in the cave right ahead of me, and that's gonna pop out when we get a little too close. Fortunately, as long as you don't get surprised by them, they're not all that dangerous. They have that downward smashing attack. They have an attack like so, where they pull back and then pop out violently. And they have an attack, I believe, where they swing their body sideways. But in any case, there's quite a bit of lag between those attacks, and you have plenty of time to get a hit in. So really not all that dangerous. You can't really explore inside the cave they came out of, unfortunately. Well, we do have a few treasures here to collect. And we've got the other Razorback Nightcrawler, as they are called, out in the open ahead. So he's not going to surprise us, at least. And we can take a moment to have a look at the hex we just picked up, Scraps of Life. An esoteric spell created by Navlan, the infamous exiled sorcerer, awakens the souls of the long-buried dead. The heretic Navlan was executed along with his entire village, and the mere utterance of his name became a crime. Some say it was because he sought to restore the banned art of resurrection. Scraps of Life is basically the hex equivalent of the Firestorm series. It just causes a bunch of dark magic to shoot out of the ground in semi-randomly placed columns. The more important thing, in the long run for us, is going to be that bit of lore about Navlan. This is not the last time we'll be hearing that name by a long shot. That's it for Razorback Nightcrawler number 2. I'm going to take out a few more of these statues, and then what we're going to do is take another side path off the cliff, because there is one of those roughly between the two Nightcrawler caves. So cave there, cave there. This is going to be just about the jumping off point. And we're going to make sure things are nice and illuminated so we don't miss the spot. Alright, down we go. And here we have another of those doors that uses the same key as that one locked door we found in the gutter and another in the trash pit. We'll be able to acquire that key pretty soon, and we'll want to explore all of those doors once again. But for now, we'll just have to move on, and there are other things to find this way, so no worries, it won't be a completely wasted trip. Let's see, I know there's another place to step down from here, but I don't remember exactly where it is. I would prefer not to leap off the cliff to my death. That appears to be the spot. So down we go. And that really kind of hurt, but that's why good Lord Gwyn made life gems. Well, I don't know, he probably didn't. Come to think of it, if Lord Gwyn had made life gems, then life gems would have been in the first game, probably. Well, that's why somebody made life gems anyway. Coming up ahead, we're going to have a little bit of a surprise, and a little more light wouldn't go unappreciated here, nor would my bow. Surprise, surprise, apparently the last giant, that very first boss we fought, was a little bit of a misnomer. We've got a few giants surviving down here in the Gulch. Wonder if there's something about all that green crap that's been preserving them this whole time. Anyway, I could melee with them, and that would be fine if there were just one of them, but taking on two of them hand-to-hand at the same time, not my idea of fun. So what I'm going to do is get a little cheesy with the poison arrows here. I actually should have attuned Toxic Mist, but sadly I did not think to. Anyway, they won't follow me all the way out of their little cave here. They're eventually going to retreat and go back to their spawn point. So I can gradually take them down with a little bit of poison at a time. More precisely, I think I will take the first one down with poison, and then the second one I'll have it out with properly. I may regret that, because it seems whenever I try and do something in the exciting way rather than the strictly sensible way, that really kind of bites me in the ass, but we're gonna try it. Taking on a single giant, it's really pretty manageable, usually. And killing them both is something that we're going to want to do, because there is a very worthwhile reward, and we can't just run past them for it. We actually do have to take them out. Alright, improve our vision a bit. I know I'm really burning through the cast light, but there's nothing else really that I'm going to need them for here. Where are you going? And they are pretty strictly melee fighters. They don't have any grabs or anything, at least that I'm aware of. They can apparently hit behind themselves pretty well. Oh my goodness! Yeah, you know how I said this probably wasn't a good idea after all? Well, we're still gonna go for it, because he doesn't have that much health left. Salad, finish it, finish it, finish it! Ah, goodness. Didn't realize I was completely out of stamina there, and caught me by surprise a bit. Anyway, we get two things of great interest here. First being the Forgotten Key, which opens all those doors we've been seeing, and second being the Soul of the Giant. Or Soul of a Giant, more accurately. First we'll have a look at that key. A key found in the gutter, intricately designed, but out of unknown origin. All manner of terrible things have been cast into the gutter in Majula, forming a settlement of filth and chaos. I have to wonder if this item was relocated at some point, because we didn't actually find it in the gutter. We found it in Black Gulch, which has poison everywhere, but otherwise is relatively clean. Let's see, what is back here? Oh yes, a treasure chest. So there's even more loot here. All the better. Oh yes, the tri-ranged battle here refers to this being a safe place to run back to and snipe at the giants. Not really necessary, though. Hurrah for woman. I'm not sure about the Hurrah for Woman, but we get the upgraded version of the Ring of Giants here, and also a Petrified Dragon Bone, neither of which I will turn up my nose at. And on the subject of giants, we also have the Soul of one. Here it is. You can see it looks a little different from other souls, and this can be consumed for a goodly chunk of souls in your pile, but we don't want to do that because these will have a use later. It's the soul of a giant who came to conquer Drangleic. Will the giant's resentment for the king be pacified in death, or only emboldened? Can be used to acquire souls, only... Yeah, that's definitely going to have a use later, and it's a very good use indeed, so I will want to hang on to that. It's also not the only one we'll be finding. And let's see, if I recall correctly, the exit is on this side, as this message helpfully indicates. Whoa! You know, I realized I was about to fall into that hole, but it was just a moment too late to actually stop myself. Alright then. Give me just a moment, folks, and I will cut back in as soon as I get back to where I stupidly jumped down a hole. Alright folks, I've actually just done the first drop over here, and it occurs to me that I do have that key still, so I might as well check out what's in this door while I'm here, before I return to where I previously died. Oh, and hey, it's you again. Now, I really have to ask, I know that I brought this up before, but I really have to ask, how the hell did you get down here? Because this cliffside, it is even less ADA compliant than that basilisk pit in the shaded woods. I mean, I know the obvious answer is he's a fucking wizard, but I don't know, I prefer to think of the idea of him launching off the cliffside in his chair, presumably while throwing up the horns and, I don't know, blasting Van Halen on his built-in magical speakers. Anyway.
Young undead, don't let this curse weigh upon you. We meet a second time. Perhaps you will yet traverse the dark. Young undead, if you truly seek the dark, then we will surely meet again. May we meet again, somewhere, sometime. May we meet.
Alright, and once again, there's not a whole lot we can get out of his Royal Merlinness here. Not even a name yet. But there is one more location where we can find him, and then that location will be the time when we finally get some answers about this whole seeking the dark and traversing the dark thing. So that's something to look forward to. And let's see, what's the safest way to fall off here? Right about here, I believe. Yes, that'll do. Hurts like a motherfucker, but we can endure. So it's tough. And if memory serves, the giants here will not be respawned, so we can safely just proceed right on through. Oh shit. Well, so much for that recollection. Hell no you don't. Something else I should mention about this is that right now my controller is vibrating like crazy. Anytime one of these guys takes a footstep, it activates the rumble feature, which is just kind of a nice touch. Ah, shit. Tempted fate a little too much right there. You know, it seems the deeper I play into this game, the dumber my dying gets. Oh, well, how about that? While I was preparing to get back into the swing of things, I got myself invaded by a forlorn. So before we cut again, I'll go ahead and take him down, hopefully. At least if I really fluff it again and die to this guy, I won't have many souls to lose. But things seem to be going reasonably okay so far. Oh, come on, that didn't kill him. Sir? Sir with the giant sword? I've had about enough of you. Well, the effigy should help if I need one to get myself unhollowed again for the end of this section. Anyway, I'll go ahead and rest that off and put down my summon sign, and hopefully I'll be back real soon, and the third try will be a charm. Well, that's interesting. I just got invaded by Woodland Child Victor, and that's not unusual in itself. He is a standard NPC invader for this area, but I don't know why he invaded here when I've just dropped down to the giant cave. I hope he doesn't follow me down here. Third time was not a charm, and I've continued to have some trouble here. Accidentally launched myself right off the cliff at one point. Well, we'll see how things go. Oh, God. Nope, 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 nope. Get out of there, Salad. Note to self, if I want to use Toxic Mist, it would help if I had that actually in my hand. God damn it, anyway. I think I was too late there. I don't think I actually got that. Well, that is why we are a big fan of our good old standby, the Poison Arrow. Alright, let's go ahead and have our big fight with Giant number 2. And with any luck... Ah! With any luck, I'll be able to avoid killing myself in any more stupid ways at the end of all this. So far, so good. Circle, circle, be ready to dodge. Be ready to fail at dodging. Okay, there we go. Now then, let's use another of these, so I can avoid plummeting down any other holes that should be easily avoided. Speaking of holes, we do want to vault over this one, because there is something to be had in it. A set of silver talismans. Whether that's actually worth it and worth having to get back over this hole is debatable, but, well, we don't want to ignore treasures when they're right there in front of us, right? And I made it, so all's well. And what we actually want to do this time is ride the cage elevator back up. And this, I think, puts us in the second batch of coal tars, so I'll need to be careful heading down here. And then we can take care of business with Woodland Child Victor there. Excuse me, coal tars, I really don't want to fight you right now. Just gonna get myself out of the way and into a relatively safe place, so I can take care of these threats one at a time. This is what Koltars do if they get in close on you, by the way. They kind of do a swirling, sweeping tail attack, which can hit you from surprisingly far away, so that's why I like to take a little care with those and try not to piss them off until I'm ready to kill them in one strike. Oh, and Victor's come up to say hello. Guess I got his attention. Well, I would prefer not to deal with the Koltar at the same time, but we will do what we must. Oh. Little celebration by Victor there. Yeah, it's occurring to me I really should not have said anything about this being a nice, short, and straightforward area. Yeah, it's kind of doing a number on me. Okay, so this is right around the spot everything started to go sour. We've got the second section of Koltars up ahead, and we're past the part where I would normally go off the cliff if I wanted to deal with the giants or the wizard. And that means the woodland child is probably going to reintroduce him somewhere hereabouts. In the meantime, we can deal with the Koltars as we encounter them, rather than having to run back through them. And the disappearance of my summon sign means that, old Victor should be showing up. And there he is. Now, you can tell by the fact that he's emoting that he is a new addition to Scholar of the First Sin. Because in the vanilla game, NPC emotes were not introduced until the DLC. Now this time I gotta try and not let him break my guard and then stunlock me to death. Because we saw how that ends up. It wasn't cool. Alright, Vic, do your worst. No, I should never tell an opponent to do their worst, because they might actually listen. Ah, he got all of me there. But he's almost dead. And now he's all the way dead. As always for repelling an invader, we get an effigy, and I'm pleased to see that because I am going to need one. Gonna be lots of Koltars here, just like any place with tar pits, so just want to be careful, make sure none of them get the drop on me and grab me and possibly murder me. I don't remember what this path is, so let's check it out. Man, my sword and my shield are both looking a little rough from all this statue smashing. Probably going to want to use a repair powder before I finish up this area. Anyway, the chest here is something very unusual. It has a latch, so you would think it's a mimic, but it isn't. It is actually a fake mimic. A mimic, if you will. Now, Dark Souls, you're just getting trollish here. Anyway, this chest actually smashes very easily, so if you hit it with something heavy, in an attempt to test it for mimicry, you'll just smash it and not get the treasure in. Very sneaky indeed. But I know it's not a mimic, so I'm not going to do that. And for our troubles, we get a Divine Blessing. Nothing that would be catastrophic to lose if you went and smashed the chest like I did the first time, but good to have if you can get it. Okay, no Koltars. None there. Oh, and we finally get a drop from these guys. And it's not a chunk, but large Titanite shards are worth something. Oh, and by the way, also as an addition to Scholar of the First Sin, if we rest at a bonfire and then come back to around the same place that Woodland Child Victor spawned, he has a comrade named Woodland Child Gully. But Gully doesn't normally appear unless you... Oop. Careful with the coal tar there. Yeah, Gully doesn't normally appear unless you actually rest and respawn the area. Now that's what I like to see. Alright, we're getting up to the Fog Gate, which will be the boss fight in the end of the area, but there's still a little bit left to do. Such as cleaning up the remaining coal tars. And smashing statues is always tedious work, but it's work worth doing because poison sucks. And again, it's nothing a little repair powder won't cure. Right, now one thing we certainly could do is proceed onward, go right up to the boss door. But in another bit of sneakiness from the good folks at the From Software B team, there's a sneaky little hidden passageway down here. And it's one we won't want to miss. Oh, I forgot all about this. Ordinarily, you could just proceed right down here and head on into the hidden passageway, but in Scholar, they've added a statue. So I am very glad I have a fragrant branch to spare. And one reason this is a very good place to find is that there is a bonfire here, which will be a nice place to respawn if we have trouble with the boss. There's a lockstone here. And if I go ahead and do the revival thing, this is where we can bring along our good buddy Lucatiel. And I could just rest and take care of my equipment issues, but honestly I don't feel like respawning and dealing with the enemies in this area again. So I'll just go ahead and show you a couple more things before we finally get ourselves onto the boss fight. Thing number one is an NPC summon named Lone Hunter Schmidt. Lone Hunter Schmidt is kind of terrible. I would venture to say, in fact, he is the worst NPC summon in the game because he has a low-quality bow, a low-quality shield, and nothing else. In the boss fight, he tends to get himself killed fairly quickly and contributes even less damage to the total than usual for an NPC. So yeah, don't bother with him, unless you just want to totally gangbang the boss with numbers. There's also another appearance of our ninja friend Bashful Ray. He's a lot more useful, but I'm going to pass on him as well, and just stick with our friend from Mira. Now then, just have to make sure I find my way correctly to the hidden pathway without throwing myself off the cliff again. And we'll bring in Lucatiel, and then we will do this like Brutus. You hear that? You can actually hear the boss kind of moaning and crying on the other side of this fog gate. I think we're going to have an interesting encounter ahead of us. He wants to fix the statues, but he's just so terrible at it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rotten. The Rotten is going to be the last of our nameless old ones, and he's a more obvious echo than most of them, being the echo of Nito. Well, Nito, I suppose, is the only one that's really left, but on top of that, the Rotten is just like Nito, a big pile of animated corpses. With a big-ass blade, which he is currently attempting to employ on Lucatiel to less than spectacular effect, and wow, that got ugly. The Rotten can also barf oil on you, and once you are covered in oil, you will most definitely want to stay away from the surrounding fires. Also, like Nito, he has a big old area of effect dark magic blast, something to be wary of, and I think he only actually starts using that when he's at half health or less. So not something you have to worry about right away. Also, he can wind up with his offhand there and smash with it. I better save Lucatiel there. Man, that got ended quickly. The Rotten usually isn't terribly tough, but I'm not normally able to take him down that fast. I'm really quite surprised at how quickly that wrapped up. Well, I guess it helps make up a little bit for all the trouble I had with the level itself. And a level that's normally quite easy. Anywho, other things that the Rotten can do, he can smash you, as I mentioned, with his offhand. And if he really winds up with that offhand, you want to be real careful because he can grab you, and it's a nasty grab in which he wrings out your body like a washcloth. Very hurty. Anyway, we will surely need to take a little damage getting that treasure, but it is worth doing. Because it's a fire seed. And one more note about the Rotten. It's possible to chop his arms off. A little bit difficult, but doable. And that's a good thing if you can manage it, because not only does it mean he can't attack with the arm that you chopped off, and it is possible to do it to both of them, one of his arms, if removed, will give you a Pharaoh's Lockstone. Anywho, I think that's all there is in here. I should note that chopping off the Rotten's arms will not make his arm attacks go away forever. He does eventually regenerate them. But it makes you safe for a while. Let's see, what's this way? Okay, that's going to be our primal bonfire. But over here we have an extra prize before we take care of that. Ooh, a something. And a double helping of spice. Well, Salad likes it spicy, so that's a very worthy reward. So here we've got our next primal bonfire, and beyond it we've got something a little different. What we have here is one of the gates to the DLC areas. This goes to the first DLC. But the DLC areas are something I'm going to be saving for the very end of the game, so that's not something we want to mess with. And actually, I don't have the key for this one. So I couldn't go there right now if I wanted to anyway. Well then, folks, let's go ahead and spark up our last primal bonfire and get ourselves back to Majula. Oh shit! what the fuck exactly? What is this big, freaky, melty, flaming head, and what has it done with my bonfire?
No one has come this far, not for a very long while. Young Harlow, do you wish to share this curse? Then accept the fate of your guilt, and face the trials that await you. And yes, you have already joined the crestfallen. Young Harlow, there are but two paths. Inherit the order of this world, or destroy it. But only a true monarch can make such a choice. Very few indeed have come even this far. And yet your journey is far from over. Outgrown Hollow, have you what it takes? Truly? Young Hollow, seek after Vendrick. He who almost became a true monarch. The Vendrick is certain to guide your way. Fledgling Hollow, may we meet again?
Okay, giant flaming head. You're scary and disturbing, and I don't appreciate you fucking with my bonfires, but, well, you seem cordial enough, and you put the bonfire back, so, we'll call it square? The big creepy head, by the way, is a new addition to Scholar of the First Sin. Also appears in the patch version as well as the re-release version. And he's actually pretty central to the new content of Scholar of the First Sin, so we will be seeing more of him. For now, though, back to base.
You are blessed with a myriad of souls. Bearer of the curse, make your way to the castle.
So we're hearing again that we need to make our way to meet the king, both from the Emerald Herald, and that's also what the big head seems to think. Vendrick, the king who almost became a true monarch, whatever that means. So that's going to be our next goal, and now that we have collected and embraced all of the great souls, we can actually do it. First, however, let's take a look at that boss soul we just picked up. Soul of the Rotten, who writhes deep within the gutter. The Rotten embraces all in his sanctuary for all things unwanted or tossed away. Also, you may recall, we got a something there. And when we got a something, we want to get something for it. Okay, Twinkling Titanite, as I have often mentioned, can be a little hard to come by, so I'll take that one. Let's see, what other business can we take care of while we're doing intermediary things? Oh, yes. There is that door in the gutter that we needed the forgotten key for, and that has some very nice things in it indeed. I do not want to forget about those, so we're gonna head back to the gutter real quick. Fortunately, we will not have to spend a whole lot of time there. It should not take long at all. Now, what I believe I want to do is get myself down to that area where the torch hollow was hanging out with a ring of sconces around him. Oh, and there's a sconce I missed before. That one's kind of out in plain sight. I wonder how I missed it. Oh, that's right. That's where I fell down. Well, we shan't miss it this time, shall we? Oh, hey, bro. And because I am far too curious for my own good, I'm going to take a quick look at what's over that way. I don't think it's going to be anything too important, but we did fall down before we got a chance to explore this spot previously, so let's be thorough. In the immediate, there's yet another sconce to light up, so I intend to do just that. I don't expect we'll manage to get them all, but while they're obvious and in plain sight, why not? Okay, doing alright. Doing reasonable. Exploring new places. Didn't really intend to do any bonus gutter exploration today, but hey, it'll fill some time, so why not? If I'm not mistaken, that's an area that I haven't explored before, directly down below us. So what I'm gonna do is pop on a protection ring just to make sure I don't drop this huge old pile of souls that I have hanging around in the backpack, and I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, right down. Try jumping, I'll pass. But I will try this spot over here. What is there to do and what is there to be had? There's hollows, but not for long. Critical hit I totally didn't need, but that's okay. I'm fairly certain there are no coal tars in the gutter proper, and I will still treat these tar pits with a bit of respect. Oh my god, there actually are. I wonder if that's a new thing for Scholar, because I really can't remember ever seeing any of those here before. Weird. Oh, we'll keep the torch out for a oh, how do I get to those? How do I get to all that? Down there, perhaps? Well, we'll hold off and make sure we get our proper explorations of this area in before we go that way. Yeah, there's a sconce there, but if I go down that way, I'm not going to be able to get back up. Well, if I go either way, it looks like I won't be able to get back up. Alright, we're going to go this way. Oh, and this way leads to this here bonfire. Interesting. So I've pretty much looped around, if I understand this correctly. So I can go back here, and again, if I am not horribly mixed up, which is always a possibility, I can fall off the other way and see what there is to see over there. It's almost as if I'm getting the hang of this. Alright, so we drop down over here. And... oh, I see an unlit sconce, my favorite kind. Lots of hollows there. Which way are they going to come from? Which way are they going to come from? This way. Oh shit, that's not a hollow at all, that's a citizen. Well, still a hollow, but a much more dangerous sort. I think I usually end up skipping this part altogether, just like I did the first time I came through here. Man, I just do not remember any of this. Ah well, we discover together. And we light braziers. We light braziers together. I walked right into that in every sense of the term. I see you, treasure. What is in you? A ring of soul protection. And Melinda the Butcher, who I know I've encountered before, so I know I have been this way on at least one previous occasion. Let's see if I can get her to come down. Melinda is basically the Dark Souls 2 version of Maneater Mildred. And just like Mildred, if you fight her and succeed in taking her down, it is possible to summon her later. Although in this case it's not for anything mandatory like Quelaag, it's just going to be for an optional boss fight. An optional boss fight which I am exceedingly unlikely to do, I should note. Oh, careful with that axe, Eugene. I don't think we get anything special for beating her aside from the ability to summon her later, but it's something to do. So, hey, nifty. Unexpected additional content. Your friend and mine. Alright then. I almost forgot what we actually came here for in the first place. That being, of course, that door that we have to open up with the forgotten key. And so that's what I'm gonna do right now. Whoops, meant to light a torch there, but that didn't quite work out for me. That's better. As I mentioned, this treasure will be very much worth our while. Make sure I take out these hollows before they come wandering up behind me when I don't expect it. And then we hop on down. So, hey, about that ring of soul protection. Divine ring that watches over one's soul. Created by Ivory Roans, Sage of Lindelt. Its great protective power will protect you from any loss upon death or petrification, but after its power is spent, the ring will break. The Ring of Soul Protection is just like the Ring of Life Protection, except it can also protect you from petrification in addition to more normal HP loss kind of death. I cannot remember what it costs to get that repaired, but I am pretty certain it's more than the Ring of Life Protection. So I will want to make sparing use of that. And hopefully I will do this correctly and not need to repair it. Actually, I think what I want to do is jump down from the lower level. Is that the way this works? God, I can't even remember now. This has gone and shaken me a bit. Okay, this is the living area, so I think I've got this figured out. Yes, this is where I jump from. And I am not having a good day. Enough of your shit. Right. Now the statues out here are a little warning of what's to come. When we open this door, it's just going to be completely chock full of them. But we've handled poison before, and we can handle a little poison again. We can even handle poison that gets spit right through the door. And what's in the jar there? That's what we came for. And it looks like the hovel set has survived for all these years. The armor, as always, is very heavy armor, so that's not something I'm going to be too interested in. But the shield is still a fantastic shield, and this time we're actually going to have the strength to wield it. The first thing we'll do is take a look at that armor set. Armor as if hewn from a giant boulder. Offers stupendous defense, but weighs a ton. The origin of the name Hovel is not clear. Some say it was the warrior who wore the armor, but others say that it was the name of a great kingdom ruined in a barbaric war. No, I can confirm that it was a dude, and one that we personally killed. And as for the shield, a shield formed from chiseling a giant boulder. As solid as rock, this shield offers incredible defense, but is also terribly heavy. So heavy, in fact, that he who takes it into battle is not allowed to flee until he, or his opponent, has fallen. Now, the Havel shield, if I recall correctly, used to be even better. It had unquestionably the best stability in the game in early revisions, but I guess FromSoft decided it had a little too much stability, so I believe it was nerfed, and it now has the same stability as the Gurm Great Shield. So the two stone shields in the Great Shield category are tied for maximum stability. However, while the Havel Shield does not have the 100% fire protection that the Gurm Great Shield does, it has really good resistance of pretty much everything else. Fire is still very good, if not 100%. Magic is excellent, dark is excellent, so it's a good shield to use against just about anything that comes your way. And this is the first thing that I save out my Twinkling Titanite for. So even saving up every piece that we've had up to this point, I'm still gonna need another 3 Twinkling Titanite in order to get this to +5, which is its highest level. So, yeah, you can see why I say Twinkling Titanite is a pretty precious resource, but we'll get access to more out of it eventually, and we'll want to pump up that Havel Great Shield as high as we can. For the moment, though, I think I'll keep using the Gurm. While we're here, gotta repair that Ring of Life Protection.
I'll be around if you make it back.
Alright, our next stop is going to be our good buddy Blacksmith Ornifex, because we can trade in the Rotten Soul. Strayed does not have any use for the Rotten Soul, so this one's all Ornifex. No choices to be made. Alright then, Orny, what you got for me?
Hello? What can I do for you?
You can trade with me. And give me the Butcher's Knife. An oddly large Butcher's Knife. Not your standard weapon, but certainly deadly enough to be utilized as one. Absorbs the HP of foes. Who in their right mind would create such a thing? Perhaps it is best not to dwell on how it was likely used in the past. The Butcher's Knife works about the same as it did in the previous game.
Come back again if you find another soul.
It's a pretty respectable weapon, does a little bit of HP absorption, and just like Dark Souls 1, it has some fairly unique moves, including a walking forward strike and a two-handed guillotine strike. Not something I often use, but it is a weapon I regard as a solid one. Alright, one more bit of business before we wrap up for the day, and that's going to involve heading down and opening that last door of the Forgotten. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the ladder I need in order to get to it. If I'm wrong, we'll find out quickly enough. Yeah, that's gonna be it, because I remember you go down a ladder, and then you go up another. It looks like we've got all kind of treasure down here. Free copy of Great Lightning Spear. Some witch tree stuff. We'll take a moment to check that out. I think those are both casting tools. Oh, the witch tree bellvine, in any case, is right here. Witch tree bellvine that sprouts amongst old growth. A catalyst for miracles and hexes. Clerics who were ostracized devised this as an alternative catalyst for casting miracles. Most clerics who were stripped of their status are good-for-nothings, but among them are powerful spellcasters who represented real threats to the establishment. Although not a proper catalyst, the bellvine is quite powerful. Now, where is the witch tree branch? Ah, here it is. Branch of a forest-wandering witch tree, a catalyst for sorceries and hexes. Now it is used as a weapon, but this was originally part of a witch tree. And I can't help but notice, at least in its icon there, it looks very similar to the Lucatiel catalyst. Wonder if there's any connection. And what do we have that the ghost is helping me open over here? A free copy of Soul Vortex. Now, what is the story with that one? Oh, we've already got that. Okay. Most important, however, is what we will find on the corpse here. A dragon talon. A terribly worn dragon talon. Legend has it that in the deepest reaches of the Black Gulch, behind a door locked from the inside, is a magnificent city built for a great slumbering dragon. This talon clearly dates to ancient times, but great vitality emanates from it still. And that magnificent city, built for a great slumbering dragon, is going to be the site of the first DLC. So we could go back there and do that now if we wanted to, but I don't particularly want to. Again, the DLC is one of the last things I'm going to be doing, because the DLC is very hard. All three parts of it seem to be balanced for a very powerful character, such as you will be toward the endgame, so yeah, that's not something I want to rush into. Anyway, we are now well past the 1 hour mark. In fact, we're a little past the hour and a half mark, but there's going to be a lot of stupidity that I have to edit out of this episode, so I am honestly not sure whether it's going to be a long one or a short one. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed the journey, as ridiculous as it's been at times. And next time, we're going to go ahead and proceed along our way toward meeting the King Vendrick, ruler of Dranglake. We'll see if he finally has the solution to our curse, as has been suggested to us all along. Until that time, I thank you very much for coming along, and I hope to see you very soon. Among my favorite treasures I count large souls of a great patron. Such great patrons as Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Charlie Dunst, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Johnny Millennium, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Craig Patterson, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Darren Chow, Sonic Rose, E.X. Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, Argyle Jelly, Mechasaurus, D.G. Jono, and Doug Russell. I'm also grateful for all the souls of my other great patrons, and all you commenters, subscribers, and watchers. Thank you all for your support, and be well.